6 months later, Maya stood in the great assembly hall of the Galactic Council, preparing for the most important performance of her life. Representatives from over 300 species filled the massive space, all waiting to hear about the peace talks between the Zephyrian Empire and the Helix Confederation. The talks had been difficult. For 30 years, both sides had hated each other. They fought over planets, resources, and old insults that nobody could even remember clearly anymore. But slowly, with Maya's music helping them stay calm and focused, they had begun to find common ground. Today, we make history, Ambassador Prime Kex Thalen announced to the crowd. For the first time in galactic history, two major factions have agreed to end their war through peaceful negotiation. Maya felt proud, but also tired. The peace talks had taken months of careful work. She had learned that different types of music helped in different situations. Gentle melodies helped angry negotiators calm down. Rhythmic songs helped them think more clearly. Harmonious music reminded them that they could work together instead of fighting. War Commander Kethvar and bioarchitect Zine Lotus stood together on the platform, something that would have been impossible just a year ago. The Zephyrian Empire and the Helix Confederation announced the Treaty of Harmony. Kethvar said formally, "We will end all hostilities and begin sharing our knowledge for the benefit of both our peoples." The crowd erupted in sounds of approval from hundreds of different species. Some clapped, others made musical tones, and a few flashed lights in celebration. But Maya's celebration was interrupted by a commotion at the back of the hall. Alarms began to sound, and security guards rushed. Toward a disturbance. The Purity Syndicate attacks. Someone shouted dot ships belonging to High Purifier Vex 9 had surrounded the space station. They were firing weapons and releasing creatures designed to cause chaos and fear. Vex 9's voice came over the communication system. "This so-called peace is weakness," he announced. "The Purity Syndicate will not allow inferior species to corrupt the galaxy with their false harmony. We will destroy this assembly and restore proper order." Panic filled the hall as different species tried to escape or defend themselves. In the confusion, many aliens started to revert to their natural hostilities. Old enemies began to argue and threaten each other, forgetting the peace they had just celebrated. Maya realized this was exactly what Vex 9 wanted, to prove that peace between different species was impossible. "What do we do?" Jake asked, appearing at Maya's side with the other humans. They had all become part of the cultural exchange program, learning to help Maya in her diplomatic work. "We show them that cooperation is stronger than hate," Maya said, making a decision that surprised even herself. She walked to the center of the platform and activated the hall's sound system. Her voice carried to every corner of the massive space. "Everyone, please listen," she called out. "I know you're scared. I'm scared too. But running away and fighting each other is exactly what Vex 9 wants us to do." Some aliens stopped their panicking to listen, but others continued trying to escape. Maya began to sing, starting with her grandmother's lullaby, the same song that had first calmed the Thornback. But she didn't stop there. She began to add melodies from every species she had worked with over the past months. Amy and Steve joined her, adding their voices to create harmony. Then something amazing happened. Alina, who had been studying alien music, began to sing notes that sounded like Zephyrian war chants, but peaceful instead of aggressive. Lisa started making rhythmic sounds like the machines of the AI Coalition. I won. Aliens in the crowd began to add their own voices to the song. Crystalline beings created bell-like tones. Flying creatures added high, pure notes. Even the normally silent shadow hunters began to make soft humming sounds. The song grew and grew, becoming something that had never existed before. A true galactic anthem created by hundreds of different species singing together. Outside the station, Vex Nine's attacking creatures stopped their assault. The song was reaching them too, reminding them of what they had been before they were changed into weapons. Impossible. Vex Nine's voice cracked over the communication system. Maintain your attack. Ignore the sounds. But his creatures were already changing, just like the Berserker had months earlier. Their artificial modifications began to fall away as they remembered their peaceful nature. The song continued to spread. It reached Vex Nine's own ships, where his crew began to question why they were attacking beings who were creating such beautiful music together. "Sir, perhaps we should reconsider," one of his officers said. "These beings are not showing aggression. They are showing unity. Unity is weakness." Vex Nine screamed, but Maya could hear the uncertainty in his voice. From the platform, Maya could see that the song was working. The panicked crowd had become a choir. Former enemies were standing side by side, their voices blending together. In perfect harmony. The fear was gone, replaced by something much stronger, the joy of creating beauty together. Even more surprising, the Thornback and Gentle had somehow gotten loose from their enclosure and made their way to the hall. They stood near Maya, adding their own voices to the song. Other creatures that had been affected by human music over the months joined them. The hall filled with a sound unlike anything the galaxy had ever heard. The voices of hundreds of different species, all singing together as one. Vex Nine's attack completely fell apart. His creatures refused to fight. His crew questioned his orders. Finally, his own ship was surrounded by the peaceful vessels of the very aliens he had tried to destroy. "This is not over," Vex Nine transmitted one last time, before his ship was taken into custody. But Maya knew it was over. The song had proven something that no amount of talking could have shown, that beings from across the galaxy could work together, create together, and find harmony despite their differences. As the song finally ended, the hall was silent for a long moment. Then the celebration began again. But this time it was different. It wasn't just about one peace treaty anymore. It was about the possibility of peace everywhere. Ambassador Prime Kexthalen approached Maya with what she had learned was a smile for his species. "Maya Rodriguez of Earth, you have given the galaxy something we did not know we needed. Proof that all beings share something in common. Your first mission as Galactic Ambassador is complete." "No," Maya said, looking out at the crowd of different species who are now talking and laughing together. "My first mission is just beginning." Over the following months, Maya traveled to dozens of worlds, helping to solve conflicts and build understanding between species. But she wasn't alone. Amy became the first human cultural exchange ambassador to the Machine Collective, where her music helped robots understand emotions. Steve went to the crystalline domains, where his songs helped crystal beings learn to communicate without causing damage. More humans volunteered for the program. Soon there were human musical diplomats on worlds across the galaxy, each one learning about alien cultures while sharing the gift of Earth's music. Maya's grandmother's lullaby had become the foundation for a new type of diplomacy, one based on emotional connection rather than political power. Years later, when Maya was recognized as the most successful ambassador in galactic history, she would always remember that it all started with a simple song sung to a wounded creature on a distant planet. The galaxy was still not perfect. There were still conflicts and misunderstandings. But now there was also hope and music, and the knowledge that all beings, no matter how different they seemed, could find harmony together. Maya kept the Thornback and Gentle with her as she traveled from world to world. They had become symbols of what was possible when beings chose cooperation over conflict. Children of every species knew their story and learned that even the fiercest creatures could become friends when treated with kindness and music. On quiet nights, When Maya looked up at the stars from whatever world she was visiting, she would hum her grandmother's lullaby, and remember that sometimes the smallest acts of kindness could change everything. The galaxy had learned to sing, and Maya Rodriguez had taught them the words. Maya spent 3 days thinking about the Galactic Council's offer. She walked around the moon base, looking at the stars and trying to imagine what her life would be like as an ambassador. The weight of the decision felt heavy on her shoulders. "You don't have to decide right now," Jake told her during dinner. They were eating in the human section of the base, away from the aliens who were still studying the test results. "But I do," Maya said, pushing her food around on her plate. "Every day we wait, there are wars happening out there. People, aliens, are dying in fights that maybe I could stop." Elena sat down across from them with a tablet full of data. "I've been studying the brain scans from the demonstration. Maya, your effect on alien creatures is unlike anything we've ever seen." "But that's not the most interesting part." "What do you mean?" Maya asked. "I've been testing the other humans we found. Amy, Steve, and even you three." Elena pointed to Jake, Lisa, and Tony. "All humans seem to have some level of musical influence. On aliens, it's not as strong as Maya's, but it's there." Amy Chun joined their table, carrying her own food tray. "It's true. Yesterday, I was humming while working on my ship, and some of the alien mechanics started working faster and better. They said my music made them feel focused." Steve Martinez nodded. "The same thing happened to me. I was whistling an old song from my childhood, and some alien plants in the garden grew taller and healthier just from listening." "So it's not just me?" Maya asked, feeling both relieved and confused. "It seems all humans have this gift," Elena explained. "But you're the strongest. It's like you're a natural conductor for human musical energy." Their conversation was interrupted by a visit from War Commander Kethvar. The tall Zephyrian looked uncomfortable being in the human area, but he had something important to say. "Maya Rodriguez," he began formally, "the Zephyrian Empire wishes to make you an offer." Jake stood up, ready to protect Maya if needed. "What kind of offer?" "We want Maya to join our military as Supreme Beast Commander. She would have her own ship, her own army of war creatures, and the respect of our entire empire. In return, she would help us win our conflicts using her musical abilities." "You want me to use my music for war?" Maya asked, feeling sick at the idea. "War is the natural state of the galaxy," Kethvar replied. "The strong survive, the weak serve. With your power, the Zephyrian Empire could bring peace through victory." Before Maya could answer, bioarchitect Zen Lotus appeared in the doorway. The Helix Confederation leader had obviously been listening. "The Helix Confederation offers a better path," Zen Lotus said, its voice making musical sounds. "Join us as Chief Harmony Engineer. Help us create new life forms that are naturally peaceful and cooperative. Your music could be the foundation for a new type of evolution." "You want to change aliens using my music?" Maya asked. "We want to improve them," Zen Lotus explained. "Remove aggression, enhance cooperation, create perfect harmony between all species." Maya felt uncomfortable with both offers. Using her music for war seemed wrong, but changing aliens against their will also felt like a violation of who they were. "I need more time," Maya said. Both alien commanders looked disappointed, but they agreed to wait for her answer. After they left, Maya went to visit the creatures she had befriended. The Thornback and the former Berserker were kept in a large enclosure where they could be comfortable. Other creatures that had been affected by her music were also there, all living peacefully together. "Hey, friends," Maya said softly as she approached. The Thornback came over immediately, making happy, rumbling sounds. The former Berserker, whom Maya had started calling gentle, wagged its tail like a dog dot As she petted them, Maya noticed something new. She could feel their emotions, almost like they were talking to her without words. The thornback was content, but worried about her. Gentle was happy, but confused about its new peaceful nature. "You understand me, don't you?" Maya asked. The thornback nodded its large head. Gentle made a soft sound that clearly meant yes. "What should I do? Everyone wants me to make a choice that will affect the whole galaxy." The thornback moved closer and rested its head against Maya's shoulder. Through their strange connection, Maya felt something like advice. The creature was showing her images, not of war or control, but of different species working together, helping each other, sharing their unique gifts. "You think I should bring beings together, not control them or change them," Maya said, understanding. Both creatures made agreeing sounds. That evening, representatives from other alien factions visited Maya. The Machine Collective wanted her to help them understand emotions better. The Void Collective hoped she could teach their shadow hunters to be more visible and social. Even the Purity Syndicate, despite their previous hostility, sent a message offering her a position as genetic harmony specialist. Everyone wanted to use her gift for their own purposes. Maya was feeling overwhelmed when Amy found her sitting alone in the observation deck, looking out at the stars. "It's a big decision," Amy said, sitting down beside her. "Too big," Maya replied. "How can one person represent all of humanity? What if I make the wrong choice? What if I'm not good enough?" "Maya, I've seen you calm a war beast with a lullaby and heal a berserker with a song that came from your heart. You're good enough. But if I become the ambassador, I'll never go home again. I'll spend my whole life traveling between alien worlds, trying to solve problems I don't understand." Amy was quiet for a moment. "My grandmother used to tell me a story about a small candle in a dark room. The candle didn't ask to light up the whole room. It just decided to shine as brightly as it could where it was. And that was enough to help everyone see." Maya thought about the story. What if other humans could do this job too? Elena said, "We all have the musical gift." "Then maybe that's part of your answer," Amy suggested. The next morning, Maya made her decision. She asked for a meeting with Ambassador Prime Kexthylan and all the faction representatives. Standing before the gathered aliens, Maya felt nervous but determined. "I will accept the position of Galactic Ambassador," she announced. Many of the aliens made sounds of approval, but Maya wasn't finished. "But I have conditions. First, I don't work for any one faction. I work for peace between all species. Second, I want to establish a human cultural exchange program. Other humans will be trained as musical diplomats, so this responsibility doesn't rest on just one person." Kexthalen's branch-like arms moved in what Maya had learned was a sign of interest. "These conditions are acceptable. How would this program work? Humans would live on different worlds, learning about alien cultures and sharing our music. They would help solve conflicts and build understanding between species. Instead of one ambassador, the galaxy would have many bridges between humans and aliens." "And what about our offers?" Kethvar asked impatiently. Maya looked at him and all the other faction leaders. "I won't choose sides in your wars, but I will help you find ways to solve your problems without fighting. Music doesn't control or change anyone. It helps them remember what they have in common." Zen Lotus glowed with soft colors. "This approach has wisdom. When do you begin?" "Right now," Maya said. "I want to start with the conflict between the Zephyrian Empire and the Helix Confederation. You've been fighting for 30 years. Maybe it's time to try a different approach." Kethvar and Zen Lotus looked at each other with surprise and suspicion. "You want us to work together?" Kethvar asked. "I want you to remember that you're both intelligent species who could accomplish amazing things if you weren't spending all your energy fighting each other Maya replied. For the first time in decades, representatives of the two enemy factions agreed to try something new. They would meet for peace talks, with Maya's music helping to keep everyone calm and focused on solutions, instead of old grudges. As Maya prepared for her first official mission as Galactic Ambassador, she felt scared and excited at the same time. She thought about her grandmother's lullaby and how it had started this whole adventure. "Thank you, Grandma," she whispered to the stars. "Your song is going to help heal the galaxy." 2 weeks later, Maya stood on a platform built on the moon above Kepler 442b. She had never seen so many different alien species in one place. The Galactic Council had called for a special meeting to see the human music phenomenon for themselves. Ships from 12 different worlds floated in space around the moon. Each species sent their leaders and their most dangerous war creatures. They wanted to see if Maya's music really worked on all aliens, or if it was just lucky with the Thornback. "Are you ready for this?" Jake asked. He stood beside her along, with Lisa, Tony, and Dr. Elena. They had all been rescued and brought to this moon for the test. Maya looked out at the crowd of aliens watching her. Some looked like giant insects. Others were made of crystal or metal. A few looked almost human, but with strange colors and extra arms or eyes. All of them stared at her with curiosity and doubt. "I'm scared," Maya admitted. "What if it doesn't work? What if I make things worse?" Elena checked her equipment one more time. The brain scans show that every species here has similar emotional centers in their minds. Your music should affect them all, but maybe in different ways. A new group of humans had also been found and brought to the test. Amy Chun was a pilot who had crashed on another planet. Steve Martinez was a navigator whose ship had been attacked. Both of them had discovered that they could affect alien creatures with Earth music, but not as strongly as Maya. "We're here to support you," Amy said. "If this works, you could stop wars across the galaxy." The first test was with the crystalline choir beasts from the silicate domains. These creatures looked like living diamonds with many sharp edges. They were known for their beautiful but deadly songs that could shatter metal and bone. Maya began with a simple classical piece she remembered from music class. The effect was immediate and beautiful. The crystal creatures began to glow from inside, and their sharp edges became smooth and rounded. Instead of their deadly song, they started making sounds that were like music boxes, soft, pretty, and safe. The crowd of aliens murmured in amazement. Some took notes on strange devices. Others just stared in wonder. Next came the shadow hunters from the Void Collective. These creatures were almost invisible, like living darkness that could move through walls and attack without warning. Maya tried a folk song from her grandmother's country, something with a strong rhythm and clear melody. The shadow hunters became visible as they listened. Their dark shapes filled with soft light, and Maya could see that they were actually quite beautiful, like dancers made of starlight. They moved in time with her music, creating patterns in the air that looked like a peaceful dance. "Incredible," whispered bioarchitect Zen Lotus. "The music doesn't control them. It reveals their true nature." The tests continued. Each type of creature responded differently to Maya's songs. Robot-like machines from the AI Coalition began creating their own rhythmic patterns when she sang rock music. Flying creatures that normally attacked anything that moved started performing graceful air shows when she played jazz. Everything was going well until High Purifier Vex 9 from the Purity Syndicate demanded his own test. Vex 9 looked like a tall, thin human, but with pale white skin and cold silver eyes. "This human trickery proves nothing," he announced. "Music cannot overcome true genetic superiority and proper training." He activated a containment field, and something terrible emerged. It was a berserker-class war creature, a monster that had been changed by science and training, until it was nothing but pure aggression. It looked like a bear crossed with a tiger, but twice as large and covered in metal spikes. Its eyes glowed, red with artificial rage. The crowd stepped back in fear. Even the other aliens looked worried. Berserkers were designed to be impossible to stop or control. They were weapons of last resort, used when complete destruction was the only goal. Vex 9, this is too dangerous, War Commander Kethvar protested. Berserkers cannot be reasoned with or controlled. Exactly my point, Vex 9 said with a cold smile. Let's see this human's music work on a creature that has had all mercy and peace removed from its mind. The Berserker charged toward Maya with a roar that shook the platform. Jake and the others raised their weapons. But Maya knew guns wouldn't stop this monster. Instead of running, Maya did something that surprised everyone, including herself. She began to sing, but not any one song. She mixed together melodies from all over Earth, blues from America, chants from native tribes, Celtic music from Ireland, and rhythms from Africa. She added Asian melodies and South American folk songs, creating something that had never existed before. The Berserker stopped in the middle of its charge. Its red eyes flickered, and the artificial rage began to fade. Maya could see confusion in its face, as if it was remembering something it had lost long ago. She kept singing, pouring all her emotions into the mixed melody. She sang about home and family, about peace and friendship, about the beauty of different cultures coming together. The song grew stronger as Amy and Steve joined in, adding their own voices to the harmony. Something amazing happened. The metal spikes on the Berserker's body began to fall off. The artificial muscles that had been added to make it stronger started to shrink. The red glow left its eyes, replaced by a natural brown color. The monster was changing back into the peaceful creature it had been before science and cruelty had twisted it into a weapon. No, Vex 9 shouted. This is impossible. The genetic modifications are permanent. But Maya's song continued, and the Berserker continued to change. It became smaller, gentler, more natural. When the transformation was complete, it looked like a large, friendly animal that might have been someone's pet on its homeworld long ago. The creature walked slowly, too, Maya, and sat down beside her like a dog wanting to be petted. She reached out carefully and touched its head. It made a soft, happy sound and closed its eyes peacefully. The entire crowd of aliens was silent. They had just watched a human use music to heal a creature that everyone thought was beyond help. The human music doesn't just calm aggressive creatures, Dr. Elana announced, reading from her instruments. It can actually reverse artificial modifications and restore them to their natural state. Ambassador Prawn Kexthalin of the Galactic Council stepped forward. Kexthalin was an ancient being that looked like a tree made of silver, with many branches that moved like arms. We have seen enough, Kexthalin said in a voice like wind through leaves. This demonstration proves that humans possess a gift that could change the future of our galaxy. Maya Rodriguez of Earth, the Galactic Council wishes to make you an offer. Maya looked at her friends, then at all the aliens watching her. She felt the weight of their attention and expectations. What kind of offer? She asked. We want you to become the first human galactic ambassador, Kexthalin explained. Your role would be to travel between worlds, using your music to prevent wars and heal the damage that conflict has caused. Maya felt excited and terrified at the same time. This was bigger than anything she had ever imagined. But she also thought about Earth, about her family and friends back home. I need time to think about this, she said. Of course, Kexthalin agreed. But know that the galaxy is watching, and many worlds are hoping you will say yes. As the crowd began to disperse, Maya sat down next to the former Berserker and the Thornback, who had been watching the whole demonstration. Both creatures seemed content to simply be near her. She looked up at the stars and wondered what her grandmother would think about her lullaby changing the fate of the galaxy. The next morning, Maya woke up to find the thornback still lying beside her. During the night, she had fallen asleep next to the huge creature, using its warm side like a blanket. The others had taken turns watching for danger, but nothing had bothered them. "Its wounds are almost healed," Tony said, looking at the creature with amazement. "Yesterday it was dying. Now look at it." The thornback's cuts were much smaller, and new skin was growing over them. The creature seemed stronger too. When Maya sat up, it lifted its head and made a soft rumbling sound that seemed friendly. "I still can't believe this is happening," Jake said. "War beasts are supposed to be killing machines. They're trained from birth to attack anything that isn't Zephyrian." Lisa was checking her equipment when she stopped suddenly. "Wait, do you hear that?" They all listened. In the distance, they could hear voices calling out. The voices were speaking English. "Hello, is anyone out there? This is Dr. Elena Vasquez." Jake stood up quickly. "Elena? She was on our ship. We thought she died in the crash." They called back, and soon a woman came walking toward them. Dr. Elena Vasquez looked tired and dirty, but she was alive. She carried a bag full of equipment and had scratches on her arms from walking through the strange plants. "Thank goodness." "You're alive?" Elena said as she reached them. Then she saw the thornback and stopped walking. "What is that thing doing here?" "It's a long story," Maya said. She told Elena everything that had happened with her humming and how the creature had calmed down. Elena listened with growing excitement. She opened her bag and pulled out a strange device that looked like a small computer. "This is incredible. I've been studying alien brain patterns for 3 years. I need to scan this creature right now." She pointed the device at the thornback and watched the screen. Her eyes grew wide. "This is impossible. The brain activity shows patterns I've never seen before. It's like the creature is in a state of deep peace and healing." "What does that mean?" Maya asked. "All the research shows that war beasts can only exist in 2 states, fighting or sleeping. But this one is in a completely different state. It's calm but awake, peaceful but alert. Your humming did something to its brain chemistry." Elena worked with her equipment for an hour, taking readings and making notes. The thornback let her do whatever she wanted, as long as Maya stayed close and hummed softly now and then. "We need to test this more," Elena said finally. "Maya, can you try different songs?" Maya tried singing a happy song her mother used to play. The thornback's eyes seemed to brighten, and it tried to stand up. This time it succeeded, rising to its full. But instead of looking dangerous, it seemed playful, almost like a giant puppy. Then Maya tried a sad song. The creature lay back down and made quiet, gentle sounds. It seemed to understand the emotions in the music. "This is beyond anything we know about alien biology," Elena said. "Human music is affecting this creature's emotions and even its healing abilities." Their testing was interrupted by a loud noise in the sky. Flying machines were coming toward them. Several aircraft that looked like metal insects with weapons attached. "Zephyrian ships," Jake said, grabbing his weapon. "They probably tracked their war beast." The ships landed nearby, and alien soldiers came out. The Zephyrians looked like tall humans, but their skin was gray, and they had 4 arms. They wore heavy armor and carried large guns. The leader of the group walked toward them. "I am War Commander Kethvar. You have our property. Return the thornback immediately." "We're not holding it," Jake said carefully. "It was injured, and we helped it." Kethvar looked at the thornback, then at Maya. "Impossible. War beasts do not accept help from other species. They are programmed to kill non-Zephyrians on sight." To prove his point, Kethvar called out a command in his own language. The thornback should have come to him immediately. Instead, it moved closer to Maya and made a protective rumbling sound. "What have you done to our beast?" Kethvar demanded. Raising his weapon, Maya felt scared, but she also felt protective of the creature that had become her friend. She started humming again, the same lullaby from the night before. Something unexpected happened. All the Zephyrian soldiers stopped moving. They looked confused and unsure. Even Kethvar lowered his weapon slightly. "What is this strange sound?" he asked. "It's called music," Maya said, still humming between words. "It's from our planet Earth." More ships arrived, but these were different. They were smooth and white, and the beings that came out looked like they were made of living metal and glass. Maya recognized them from her training. They were from the Helix Confederation. The leader approached them. Its voice sounded like singing. When it spoke, "I am bioarchitect Zen Lotus. We detected unusual energy patterns from this location. We wish to understand what is happening here." Now Maya was surrounded by two different groups of aliens, both armed and both interested in her and the thornback. She felt very small and scared, but she kept humming because it seemed to keep everyone calm. Elena stepped forward. "The human has discovered that Earth music affects alien creatures in ways we've never seen before. It's not mind control, it's emotional communication." Zen Lotus moved closer to Maya. "Demonstrate this music again, human." Maya looked at Jake, who nodded. She began to sing a song she remembered from school, a simple, happy tune about friendship. The effect was immediate and amazing. The thornback began to make musical sounds, almost like it was trying to sing along. The Zephyrian soldiers relaxed their aggressive poses. Most surprising of all, Zen Lotus began to glow with soft colors. That pulsed in rhythm with Maya's song. "Fascinating," Zen Lotus said. "This music creates harmony between different species. It speaks to something deeper than language or programming." Kethvar looked angry and confused. "This is some kind of trick. War beasts cannot be influenced by enemy sounds." But even as he spoke, other creatures began to appear from the forest around them. Small flying things that looked like birds made of light came first, hovering near Maya as she sang. Then larger creatures emerged, some that walked on many legs, others that seemed to flow like living water. All of them gathered around Maya peacefully, drawn by her music. Creatures that should have been fighting each other stood side by side, listening to the human song. Elena was recording everything with her equipment. "The music is creating a field of emotional harmony. It's affecting every living thing in the area. This changes everything," Zen Lotus said quietly. "If humans can create peace between hostile species through music, they must be studied and protected." Kethvar was still angry, but Maya could see uncertainty in his eyes. "The Galactic Council will need to know about this," he said finally. Maya stopped singing, and slowly the creatures began to move away. But they didn't seem hostile anymore. Even the Zephyrian soldiers looked less aggressive. "What happens now?" Maya asked Zenn-Lotus, and Kethvar looked at each other. For the first time, representatives of two enemy factions were talking instead of fighting. "Now," said Zen Lotus, "the galaxy learns that humans may be the key to peace we have been searching for." Maya Rodriguez woke up to the smell of smoke and burning metal. Her head hurt badly, and she could taste blood in her mouth. She tried to sit up, but her safety belt held her tight in her chair. The control room of the ship was dark, except for a few red warning lights that blinked on and off. "Is anyone alive?" she called out. Her voice sounded weak and scared. "Over here," came a voice from the other side of the room. It was Captain Jake Morrison. He was pulling himself out from under a fallen piece of the ceiling. Blood ran down his face from a cut on his forehead. Maya worked to free herself from her seat. When she finally got loose, She stood up slowly. Her legs felt shaky, but she could walk. She looked around the broken control room. Their ship, the Frontier Dawn, had crashed hard. Most of the computers were broken, and there were holes in the walls where pieces had been torn away. "Where are we?" Maya asked. Jake looked at the one working screen. "Kepler 442b. We were doing a survey mission when something hit us. I think it was weapons fire." Maya felt her stomach drop. Kepler 442b was a war planet. 2 alien groups had been fighting there for years. Humans were not supposed to be here. "Captain!" Another voice called from the back of the ship. It was Lisa Park, the chief engineer. She was helping a man walk toward them. Maya recognized him as Tony Williams, their medic. Tony's arm hung at a strange angle. "My arm is broken," Tony said, trying to smile. "But I'm alive." Lisa looked around the damaged ship. "The engines are dead. The communication system is broken too. We can't call for help." Jake checked his watch. "It's getting dark outside. We need to find shelter and supplies. This planet has dangerous animals, and there's a war going on." Maya nodded. She was the communications officer, but right now that didn't matter. They all had to work together to survive. They spent the next hour gathering what they could from the ship. Lisa found some food packs and water bottles. Tony, even with his broken arm, collected medical supplies. Jake took weapons and tools. Maya grabbed a small radio that still worked, and her personal music player. As they prepared to leave the ship, they heard loud noises outside. The ground shook, and bright flashes of light lit up the sky. "That's weapons fire," Jake said quietly. "The aliens are fighting close by." They waited until the noise stopped, then carefully left their crashed ship. The planet looked like a nightmare. The ground was covered with strange purple grass that glowed softly in the dark. In the distance, they could see the lights of alien machines and vehicles. "There," Lisa pointed to some rocks about half a mile away. "We can hide there tonight." They started walking, carrying their supplies. The air smelled like metal and something sweet that made Maya feel sick. Strange sounds came from all around them, growls, clicks, and noises she had never heard before. They were almost at the rocks when Maya heard something that made her freeze. It was a low, painful moan, like an animal in trouble. The sound came from behind some fallen trees to their left. "Keep walking," Jake said firmly. "We don't know what's out there." But Maya couldn't ignore the sound. It reminded her of her dog back on Earth when he was hurt. "Something's in pain," she said. "Maya, no." Lisa grabbed her arm. "This isn't Earth. The animals here are dangerous." Maya pulled free and walked toward the sound. Behind the fallen trees, she found something that made her gasp. It was huge, about the size of a small car. It had 6 legs and was covered in thick, dark skin that looked like armor. Sharp spines stuck out of its back. Blood came from several wounds on its side. "It's a thornback," Tony whispered behind her. "A Zephyrian war beast. They use them in battle." The creature looked at Maya with large, yellow eyes. It tried to stand up, but fell back down. It made the same painful sound again. Jake raised his weapon. "Stay back. Those things are trained to kill." But Maya felt something strange. The creature didn't look angry or dangerous. It looked scared and hurt, just like any injured animal would. Without thinking, she started to hum softly. The tune was an old song her grandmother had taught her when she was little. It was a gentle melody that always made her feel safe and calm. She had hummed it to herself many times when she was scared or lonely. Something amazing happened. The thornback stopped trying to get up. Its breathing became slower and more peaceful. The fierce look in its eyes changed to something softer. "Maya, what are you doing?" Jake asked in surprise. Maya kept humming and took a small step closer to the creature. It didn't move away or try to attack. Instead, it seemed to relax even more. She could see that its wounds had stopped bleeding as much. "I don't believe this," Lisa said quietly. Maya knelt down near the thornback, still humming the old song. The creature lowered its large head and closed its eyes. For the first time since they crashed, Maya felt something other than fear. She felt wonder. How is this possible? Tony asked. Maya didn't know the answer. All she knew was that her grandmother's lullaby seemed to have power she never knew about. The war beast that should have killed them was now lying peacefully beside her, listening to her song. In the distance, more lights flashed in the sky. The war was still going on, but here in this small place, there was peace. Maya kept humming, and the thornback kept listening. Jake lowered his weapon slowly. We need to understand what just happened here. This could change everything. Maya looked at her friends, then at the calm creature beside her. She didn't know it yet, but this moment would change not just their lives, but the future of every living thing in the galaxy.